Thanks for staying with us. So it's May 29th. Today, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu clocks 1 year in office. Without a doubt, it has been a roller coaster ride for many Nigerians. Some will call it distressing, some will call it enlightening, some will call it revealing, some will call it in different ways. You can use any way to describe how you feel. But we'd like to open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in to describe what do you think of the president's 1 year anniversary in office. Those of you who have good things to say, what are the things you've seen that you think that are hopeful? Do you sense the renewed hope agenda in your lives? And those of you who are not very happy, what are those things that are making you unhappy? So maybe we can actually express those views to the leaders and they can begin to find ways to redress the issues. But you can call us on 081 0764 1679, 09024163440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. We'd like to hear from you. It's just us opening our lines to Nigerians, expressing their thoughts on this administration's 1 year in office. Who'd like to go first? Alaja.
Or
start with Namaka.
Okay, maybe.
Let Namaka go ahead.
So let me go ahead because and this I'm part of the people that really was behind the Tinubu administration.
Oh, really?
I got lots of backlash, from the people community. Why not supporting Peter Obi? But I was that person that with my full chest,
Are you serious?
Yeah, yes.
I never knew that.
Oh, I did. And the funny thing, because I felt that he was going to take us, where we wanted to go. I felt maybe that the Peter Obi administration was going to be too stringent. And I felt, with innovations and stuff, I believe that this administration is going to get us there. It might take a bit of time, but we'll get there. But then I'm not happy about the exchange rate at all. Because this is just, within 1 year, it's been chaotic. Everything has been up and down. 461 went up to 1516. That was like, it's too much. Business owners, you simply can't do everything. The cost of living is crazy. I'm just not happy about that. They really need to sort this out, figure it out, and soon, because we can't continue like this.
Okay, so since you started from the exchange rate, one of the things I see, everybody knows I'm an APC from back home, my family, so I don't do any other party. But one of the things I've seen is that this administration is seriously working. So we had an administration where it was just the CBN governor's decision how economy will go. Prior to this administration, that's the past administration. And so most economic plans, even though they had an economic team, it was the CBN governor's, policies that were louder on how everything will go. He decided, let's take certain things off the list, let's put certain things back on the list. And, those were how the things went. But you see, this administration has a team. The Minister for Finance, the CBN governor, everybody on their toes trying to redeem the Naira. We saw all the efforts. They were able to, they're focusing so much. Let it float. Let's find the real value. And eventually, this is the real value. How do we come in? Let's pump in and make available dollars so that there's no scarcity of it that, gives it value. They're working. But our ways did not change. So the team, if they like, let them be a group of angels. If Nigerians, our tastes, our desires, our pleasures, we like to travel, we like to seek the foreign currencies more, we like to save in the foreign currencies. Nigerians in 2000, around one of the 2000s, I was talking to a businessman, and it was like, Nima, everybody is selling their assets in Nigeria and dollarizing it. Very soon, there'll be a problem with the Naira. Not long after that conversation, the Naira started to struggle. And I see it every day. And I see Nigerians come out and say, hey, Naira, dollar. But that conversation didn't leave my head. Doctor, if you're watching. And I was like, because he said, even me. And at that time, the Dangotes, all of them, had to dollarize in some form. And all of that was in the papers, and I followed it through because our quest for whatever is foreign is why we're here. We claim that, we don't have Nigerian companies, but how many of us patronize the Nigerian companies that were existing? We still believe the quality ones have to be from outside, except for Nigerian wires, because we know that the Nigerian wires are the best. If you are wiring your house, you better not be using foreign wires. But every other thing, we like to go out. And we see how it affects every other thing in general, but we argue. Recently, people had to go on Hajj. Some people had paid It happened the previous year to under MFL's administration where my uncle had even paid for her prior, and he had to put an extra 3 million on her to repay the real value because the last administration refused to pay the difference. Now, this administration had to swallow that difference of people who are paid because, you know, it wasn't deposited immediately in Saudi. We are shouting, but we know how this quest for everything outside is going to affect us. Those are some of the examples. But for me, the only thing that this administration has really done to offend me is that, you know, they promised that our refineries would pick up. For me, one thing I was really hopeful for is to see our refineries work again. My father was staff of the NNPC, and then he moved on to Mobile. So I read books on, you know, a working refinery. And a country as blessed as us with crude, we should not in any way. It's because we have to then join the world economies in buying something that God has already relieved us of.
Right.
You know, refusing to refine. There's nothing that Saudi has over us. It's just that, you know, they refine their own crude.
Exactly.
Dubai does not have anything over us. They refine their own crude. But we don't refine ours. We go out, we bring it. And then we are open on a private refinery that has been established here in Nigeria. But that private refinery, too, is already striking deals to bring in 20 million barrels a year of crude from the US. You know, we eventually go back to play the world's economic game. And to affect us. We don't have any buffer in any way with the little local things that God has blessed us. So that Warri refinery that they said will be ready before the end of December. And that Port Harcourt one that they say will be ready
December.
that is the offense. I am serious because I know that all world economies are in their own recession in one way or the other. There's crisis economically everywhere in the world.
Exactly.
But the one that would have helped us locally, we did not even seek. So
Miriam, your thoughts? 1 year.
1 year, 1 year. So I started you know, for me it was, I still do have a lot of hope for this administration because in my opinion, which I've held, you know, since from the beginning, is that we got the best man for the job. And also, you know, I'm not naive. I know that the situation that our country was in we're in dire straits before this administration got in. But, you know, we had someone who came on and said, the buck stops here. You know, I'm not passing the buck to anyone. If there's any problem, talk to me. I'll take the blame. So for me, you know, that started me on a comfortable note that at least we'll be talking with someone who understands and who is willing to do the work and willing to hear the criticisms, you know. And it has been tough, really. Economically, it's been tough on many Nigerians. Food prices are beyond.
Skyrocket.
You know, people are going to the market. I mean, this is me, you know. I thank God for my own little provisions that God has given me. I am by no means a rich person, you know. And I'm wondering how people who don't have as much resources as I do, how they are coping. Because some things as little as yam, eggs, fish, I know how expensive that has become. So I imagine for those who those things were luxury for them in the first place, what they're doing right now. So this bothers me a lot. We're talking about electricity as well. You know, for me, it will be my biggest heartache, power. And it's because I believe that if we have, you know, we have some mounting issues, we have enough difficulties, but I was thinking that there's some things that we will handle immediately that will sort of help alleviate some of the issues that we have while government is trying to, you know, fiscally and monetarily sort those out. I was hoping that power, at least our manufacturing industry will be powered, our homes will be powered, our schools, our hospitals will be powered, and we're still struggling with electricity. And then we have this new tariff that has come in. I believe that those who get, you know, you pay what you use, but we're not getting it enough. People are still relying on diesel and petrol. You know, we're still struggling on the many things that, you know, were our struggles from the beginning. But personally, I can rationalize it because I believe that it's because we're on a certain journey. There are policies that have been put in place. There are some measures that have been put in place that will make things tight for a short while. And until then, you know, I understood from the very beginning that things were going to get tough before they get better. But I am still concerned about those who this getting tough may mean this is it. Yeah. There's nothing. So I would like to see, going forward, the measures that can be put in place to alleviate for those much less than us.
Right.
We know the NLC is at the table with the government concerning minimum wage. And I know why the NLC is pushing that, because of all the issues that a regular Nigerian has to face: rent, feeding, hospitals, those sort of things. But I believe that the NLC, like many of us, what we really want is a working government. We want to be able to walk into a hospital and the average Nigerian is able to afford it, or it's subsidized in a certain way. Education, we want to see better schools, better infrastructure, more children in school, the school feeding program. Of course, and above all, being from the north, is insecurity. Yes, I haven't heard as much as the last administration, but that doesn't mean it's gone completely.
Yeah.
So 2-3 days or a week, everything seems normal. Then you hear something really major. They've attacked a community, they have captured children, they've captured a family. That is still a problem for me. And I hope that going forward, we'll see improvement. So yes, it's been tough, it's been chaotic, but I am still hopeful that the government understands what it's doing, that these measures is really for just a short time so that it can be better in a few months.
Thank you very much, Mariam. For me, I think my own the pleasantries for me is the CNG buses. I think it was a fantastic idea. I saw one this morning or yesterday.
Really?
I smiled. I am a CNG. I'm CNG powered.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they are really here. So I was really excited. And they're really huge buses. Interestingly, it was bigger than the regular blue bus. I was really shocked.
Good.
So I mean, those are things we're seeing here and there. I like the education loans. I think they launched last week or 2 weeks ago, which is great. I'm happy that it wasn't lip service. That we're seeing that it's eventually coming up and all that. But my own worry is, you see, it's one thing to do the policies, the measures, but it's another thing to change the mindset of not just the leaders, but also Nigerians. That renewed hope agenda, but I've been worried that it doesn't trickle down to all our leaders, because it starts, as YK says, I'll borrow from YK, it starts from our leaders. So if I am the president and I'm screaming renewed hope, how many of my ministers have aligned with renewed hope? How many of the other arms of government, the judiciary, legislatures, across all the various stratas, all the various tiers, are they aligned with the vision? And they realize it's not business as usual. So I have an issue with that, and I feel that there has to be a continuous reminder for everybody in government, from the local government to the LCDAs, to the governors, to all the various commissioners. Everybody must align, because we are trying to change the mindset of Nigerians, because it's that mindset change that would help the policies to be efficiently implemented. So policies can come, but if I don't care, I will still steal those materials being used to do the roads. I will still steal, steal the lights, because I don't really care about Nigeria. I plan to jackpot anyway, so let me just steal this thing, sell it and make money and get out of the country. So we really need to change the mindset. That's one. Then secondly, Bande matter. I cannot but say Bande. I know you've talked on power. Well, you see, I think we said before, and I think Mariam always reminds us that we said we'll pay. Now, they are trying to give us. And nobody's saying that we will not pay. But let us pay what we consume. And I think that's the issue. So for me to know what I'm consuming, give me a prepaid meter. Every Nigerian deserves to have a prepaid. Don't send me postpaid bills. Don't send me estimated bills in 2024. Government, so before you start screaming bande, give me something that I can monitor. So if I have to turn off all my lights, at least I can measure it. So I will pay a band-aid bill, but let it be on my own terms. What I am measuring, what I am controlling. Don't just throw me a postpaid bill because I'm a band-aid and I start paying millions. Because I know somebody who, he said, Mariam, my house, I used to pay 1.2 million a month. They gave him 7 million naira bill a month. For his office, he used to get 4 million naira. He has this big office. He used to get 4 million. He said, Mariam, I got 38 million for the month. How am I supposed to pay that? So we have to really see how distressing this whole thing is for Nigerians. I'm not sure if the minister or the president is aware.
Let me
just abuse Nigerians. I get it.
This your prepaid my advocacy.
Yes,
because it's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I mentioned on the show that I had a business that was on the estimated bill, and the bills kept rising. In fact, 1 month their transformer had broken down, and that same month bill was 84,000.
Can you imagine?
Because I hear somebody has been on hold for a while. I'll come back to you.
Please.
Kunle from Mowe, you're live.
Good morning.
Thank you for holding, sir. Sorry, I heard they've been on for a while.
Okay. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, sir.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You are doing a great job,
Thank you, sir.
and we want you to continue. Please, number one, I want to advise that please raise young women, young girls that can take over from yourself. We don't want that gap, Let young girls continue, as you girls are aging, or as you ladies are aging. Number two, I perceive that this government doesn't have in-depth understanding of the economy of Nigeria, especially before the removal of fuel subsidy. If they had the in-depth understanding, they will have come up with shock absorbers. For example, local refineries must be working. Number two, the issue of transportation system also have been dealt with. The CNG buses also have been available. So, and several other shock absorbers also have been put in place so that the effect and the multiplier effect of removal of fuel subsidy will be reduced on Nigerians. But having said that, I believe in this government. It's a purposeful government. It has a good economic team with brilliant minds that will work fine. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much. America, you're going to jump in. Oh,
Yes, I was talking on the prepaid meter thing. So the bill for about 3 weeks that there was no light was now 84,000. And I was like, we need to work on. I'd already made my application for the prepaid meter and paid ahead, but they were not bringing it. I had to quickly put pressure that, prepaid meter or nothing, because they would come and cut off the light. Fortunately, we had it solar powered, we had it inverters there, so you operate whether or not, and we use gen to pump water. And we were operating like that. Since prepaid meter was installed, the baton, no more shout.
Imagine.
No more, because we're now paying for, fortunately, what we're consuming there was only the bulb and the pumping machine.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
That's what we use the power for. But they would do a commercial bill for you, you're a business, you're on the road, and so they will charge you outrageously. So the justice and the balance that prepaid meter bring cannot even be overemphasized.
Exactly.
It cannot be.
So make that available for those of us,
must.
especially those of us in Band A.
It
Give it to us.
To everyone.
Let me not compare. I don't want to compare, but when the Minister for Power was Babatunde Raji Fashola, he had come out to say to the discos, if you do not meter, do not bill. Taking a stand of the consumers. I've been waiting for this minister to take that stand so that the discos know this is serious business. They were forced to engage contractors for the prepaid meter thing. They were forced to do the compulsory meter up thing. That was how Yala Olu was able to get meter. People not very well, some meter ahead. It was the compulsory meter up that they were able to get some low earners and put them on the meters, on the meter them, and then we're deducting it from their recharges over time till they fully paid. So those are some of the measures that you can use. You must use it. You must meter people.
Yeah.
You cannot continue to say this one's. Imagine the outrageous bill to such a low income, and what would the person do?
Mama Brown, that does my husband's mom and grandma, they don't do anything. All they do is light. They don't use air conditioner. They don't use washing machine.
They're afraid of.
They get them 130 and 140,000 naira. Like what are they using?
What are they using?
Let me take this call. Good morning, Good morning, Mr. Festus from K2. Go ahead.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, sir.
I want to congratulate you people.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
11 years of successful outing. It's wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I wonder, you have never put on a dress twice. That means you must have a trailer to the wardrobe.
You're not checking.
That's not true. That's not true.
5 times 7, sometimes 10.
You see, the government, the people should understand the government. Once there is a policy, the policy must pass through gestation period. It will take time for the gestation period, depending on our own ability to cooperate with the government. The man is purposeful. He knows his onions very well. But our own attitude, like Nima said, our own attitude, we are a nation of saboteurs. When immediately was there, when there was this cash crunch, the POS, they were making money. They saw it as their own opportunity to feed on people. Now, these our other sectors too, they now see it as an opportunity to feed on us. It is not government making, it is our own attitude. I am telling you, it has a purpose. Look at what he's doing. Nobody is complaining of lack of payment of salary. And all the state, this thing, and Buhari has sold our oil, in advance. So this administration has never even touched our own oil. That is why Dangote is going to abroad to bring oil. And that thing will last maybe around June. So as from July, we now have access to our own oil here. That is what is happening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Festus. Two guests have used the word purposeful. So I think Nigerians are also, that resonates to Nigerians that, okay, we're not where you're going to, but we can see that there's purpose. There's somewhere they are going. They are informing us. We have an idea. There is a direction.
Yeah.
We're not happy. We are distressed. We are complaining.
Yeah.
But we see where they are going, which I think is...
So that's what I was saying gives me hope.
Yeah.
Because it's not this... Because we have had administrations like that where we're suffering and we're wondering why.
What's going
And then, and there's no direction. And then when we ask questions, there's either no answer of like, your CBN governor has answered you. Your minister for security has, have given them the job. They are meant to do it. But here, we know it's easier for Nigerians, no matter how we grumble, sort of, okay, yes, we know where you're headed. We know why we are suffering right now. But, year one, a lot of people, that's grace period. After year one, the demands will be more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it means the administration will sit up. And that means, so there's something I like. I like this scorecard, that meetings that they're reviews of the ministers. Because we're now teaching people accountability. Exactly. As you mentioned earlier, everything starts from the top. And you're right about the mindset that Nigerians have. There are lots of things that we need to re-engineer and change. And this attitude of giving accounts for what you have done, why you did what you did, why you failed, or what resources you need to do better, it's important because it means now that you don't get a political appointment just to come and enjoy the largesse of what that political office will give you. You're expected to do work. And Nigerians are watching, and they are now able to ask you and point you out for the work that you haven't done. So that gives me so much hope because it will trickle down to all of us in one way or the other. We understand that we have to give accounts for everything that we do. Yes, Nigerians have this tendency to be saboteurs of, policies. They give a subsidy somewhere, quickly some cartel will form and they are making money out of it. We do, you say Nigerians should tighten their belt. Somehow, some people will find a way, to go around it. But the thing is, the leaders too, what are they doing that is obvious to Nigerians to show that they are tightening belts? Are they showing us in the ways that they have tightened belts? I'm talking to the legislators here about tightening belts. We have yet to see. You may be doing it because a lot of times when we call them one-on-one, they will explain to us, but do you know what I did not do or what I did? But the one that Nigerians see all the time, we haven't seen you people tighten your belt. We haven't seen you in your policies put in new policies or sit down to discuss policies that will show that you'll be tightening your belt going forward. So so it's 1 year for you as well, right? Yes. For the National Assembly. Yes, we need to know what you're doing, how you are also with us, this renewed agenda. If you also understand it, I understand why Nigerians...
Let me jump in right there. So one of the things I like about this administration is that they are a listening administration. Yeah. I would give them that. We didn't have that in the past. But now, when something is said and then, public opinion and outcry goes up, like the president takes it up immediately, and then there's a response.
we see that.
Yeah, we see that, right? And I believe that after the whole talks today, celebration, people's opinion, because today is that day where everybody is saying how they feel about this government. I want to believe that they have been a listening administration for 1 year, that will push on it. But then I also want to talk on insecurity in Nigeria. Yeah, in the north and also in the southeast. Yeah, that's what I said, in the north and in the southeast. I'm pleading that this government, this administration, take this up in the next quarter as something very serious. We have a strong, law enforcement. We have very strong law enforcement agencies, the military, the police. I say, if they want to stop certain things, it will stop. We believe in you. We trust you. We know you can do it. I said, the kidnapping, the insecurity is too much. Yeah. Something has to be done. Because with hunger in the land, with hardship in the land, it's just going to get worse. So I think it has to be curtailed right now before things get out of hand.
So quickly, three things I would like to say. Let me just quickly build on this. So large-scale kidnapping is what has died down. It's what you call parents coming from school with their kids doing school runs, they pick them up at their gate. It's now too popular. In local jazz, they call it a norm now. You just hear that. And recently we heard it happen in the south. So look, policing within locality is very important. Maybe we should just start the community policing. Also, we know that there are certain foods that we must import. Can we put a waiver so that those foods, when they come, they are cheaper? A carton of fish now, we don't fish Titus here. You cannot buy it. That's the truth. And you cannot, see, somebody was, he's saying on Twitter that yes, they have good fundamental moves and they are unifying the Naira rate. But this government has to have a human face. Special food importers recently were saying to him that they hiked clearing fees for containers. Go to the cold room. What we used to buy, our panla that we used to buy, the last one we bought 25 or 28,000 for carton. It's almost 80,000 now. You can't afford it. Panla that we used to carry and do, so it's outrageous.
I have to wrap up very soon, unfortunately.
And we didn't talk about the state governors. Maybe
we can continue. It's still celebrating all week. So, but I have to end with this message from Engineer Ajibola Tijani, PhD. I mean, he always loves when he sends us nice messages that can recap the whole thing.
Okay.
And he said this, and I think it's really profound. That with respect to 1 year anniversary of this administration, Nigerians must look inward first and ask themselves, what have they done? What have they contributed to the country in the last 12 months? What we all need to do is to rededicate ourselves to nation building. Mr. President can give directives and show direction to go, but what are we all doing to ensure it materializes? Patriotism and nothing else will bring us out of our self-inflicted predicaments in Nigeria. We all need to come out of our comfort zones to do our bits. We have missed our ways as a nation ages ago, and it will take more than an administration to retrace our steps and forge ahead. The political will by politicians must be matched by citizens' efforts in order to achieve our desired nation. There is a reason God created us in this country, and he never made mistakes. Arise, O compatriots. So he is advocating for our own part, which I totally agree with. Also, it doesn't mean that our leaders don't have a part to play. They also must align, because it's one thing to have a president to say renewed hope. All the leaders with him must also align. So as leaders are aligning, Nigerians must align. We must all arise to build this nation. I totally agree with Engineer Tijani. I think that's all we can take. Congratulations again. 1 year, lots of different perspectives, but I hope the feedback, as Amaka said, is taken and we see some results, positive results going forward. We understand these are teething times, but it's important that Nigerian government wakes up quickly to reduce the suffering of Nigerians as soon as possible. That is all we can take on today's show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.